Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and we're less than a week away from the new year, 2016. As we wind down the year, I wanted to include a few chapters of 1963, my book about the Kennedy assassination. I have stripped away some of the sci-fi and the preliminaries and gone directly to chapter 18, and have included around 3 or 4 chapters where Patch meets Johnny Roselli at Dodger Stadium. And because of his past association and saving of Roselli's life, Patch is dispatched on a specific mission that will allow him to trail Oswald through the end of the summer and into the fall, right up to the assassination of President Kennedy. Here is Chapter 18, 1963. Chapter 18, Private Reception Area, Los Angeles Dodgers, Los Angeles, California, Wednesday, July 24th, 1963, 7:11 p.m. Patch leaned against the glass. Besides seeing the playing field from high above the stadium, the buildings of Los Angeles pointed upward toward the tapering plain. Shari held a sombrero mixed by the bartender. Patch's golden beer bubbled in a glass on the side table. A diverse group of characters formed the crux of a loud jazz-induced party. The Dodgers players marching together as if they were part of a stage performance. Women in low-cut, tight dresses bounced around like errant pinballs in a fixed game. An unkempt large man with rounded eyes in a tan suit with a drinker's nose spun a handgun on a piece of yellow bond paper. He laughed as the crowd backed away and the gun pointed at Roselli. A serious-faced Roselli picked up the gun and tossed it to the man. Then he crumpled the paper and placed it on the waiter's silver tray. "Put it away, Bill." Then he mixed with the party guests, shaking hands as he worked the crowd like a politician. Somebody brought a vodka over ice to him. He spoke with the drink in his left hand as he gestured with the other hand. Patch stared at Bill, who secured his gun in a holster strap, as a woman in a red satin dress brought him a drink. "Double martini," she said, but the glass was already at his lips. "Double martini." Roselli stepped up to Patch and Shari. "Don't worry about Bill." "Was that gun loaded?" asked Shari incredulously. "He always carries a .38 Detective Special, fully loaded." Then he put his hand on Patch's shoulders. "I just bet the people in the Dodgers organization, Massey's men, that I would sit in the regular seats just like any other fan. I'll donate it to one of their charities." "Maybe they'll take your picture," said Patch. Roselli's face flattened like a newly pressed coin at the stamping machine. "No photos, Patch. Ever." "Yes, sir." "Anyway, I'm in the left field grandstands for Koufax's game tomorrow." Patch thought about the photo, shot long distance, still folded in his pocket. "We were up there today." "Right. Look, Patch, I just had a conversation here and on the phone. People you know send their warmest regards. Listen, I have something in mind for you." "Really?" Roselli put his arm fully around Patch and escorted him along the window. "You know, young man, there comes a time, as you know very well, when your country needs you. Last fall, the Russians almost brought us to the brink in Cuba. They want to take us over, Patch. That would not be good. See? You know what I mean, and I'm sure your new girl there knows, too." "Sure. The parties to be, my friend, want you for an assignment." "You mean work for you?" "No, not for me. A word to the wise. Stay away from Phillips, Hunt, and the intelligence boys. I'll let you know which individuals you can trust. If this works out, you'll be well taken care of." Bill moved with a certain swagger and transported a new drink out of the room. Patch looked back at Roselli. "Thank you." "No, thank you. You'll have a main contact." Roselli took a sip of the vodka and then the ice rattled in the glass. "They'll pay you $2,000 if this goes forward." $2,000? "You do what your contact says. This is on a need-to-know basis. Again, don't talk to any government types. Don't ask any questions. Be as discreet and as ballsy as you've been in the past, and you'll have a nice little cash for you and your girl." He leaned toward Patch. "Patch, You look older. I've been through a lot. Sure. Prison will do that to you. Lewis McWillie is the pit boss at the Bird of Paradise in Vegas. You drive to the Bird of Paradise tomorrow. After 10 p.m. tomorrow, specifically ask for McWillie. Tell them Johnny sent you. Your first contact is already in Vegas as we speak. Mr. Roselli, I don't know what to say. How about yes? Sure, yes. Here's what you need to do first. I want you to head out to the Santa Anita racetrack in Arcadia tonight. You'll need to be at window 4 at 9:30 p.m. My friend Walter the Knife will be there. Just don't call him Walter the Knife to his face. What do I call him? You call him Mr. Piscotti or Walter. Patch nodded. He has a manila envelope for you. $2,000 will get you going, Patch. We owe you more than that, believe me, after what you did. Walter will give you my private number. If anybody tries to muscle you, you get in touch with me right away and we'll take care of the problem. I mean it. He handed Patch a card. Thank you. Everyone likes you and has confidence in your abilities, Patch. Do a good job. I will. I know you will. I know you can carry the load. Good luck. Roselli's eyes brightened as he squeezed Patch's hand. Then he went over to Shari and shook her hand. He exchanged a few niceties and then left the suite. Patch held the card as he looked into her dark eyes. I'm heading to the racetrack, and then to Vegas. She pursed her lips. Roselli told me they had 2,000 waiting for me at the racetrack and more to come. What did you do? Kill somebody? Apparently I did something for him and his friends in the past. So I guess I'm going to pay you back, Miss Thomas. I guess so. And you should head back to Spokane. How will you get to Vegas? Bus? Plane? I have to meet this McWillie at the Bird of Paradise. They reached the outside lobby doors. Look, Patch, I can bring you to Vegas. It's on the way and I can head north after that. You want my opinion? He asked with a smile mixed with uncertainty. Her eyes moistened. What's your opinion? This is really dangerous stuff. They're paying me all this money and I have no idea why. We'll get a hotel somewhere on the way to Vegas and then you can head back to Spokane. Santa Anita Racetrack, Arcadia, California, July 24th, 1963, 10:22 p.m. She held his hand at the fence surrounding a fountain. A huge green pavilion, lengthy and several stories high, was highlighted by powerful spotlights. The flags along the roof blended into the night. He repeatedly checked the parking lot, even though he knew Moon could never know his whereabouts. A variety of casually dressed people darted around the noise-filled park. Aromas of food and cigarette smoke drifted into the lot as they walked toward the entrance. As they entered the grandstand, the race board's white digits blazed across the dirt track. He checked his watch. We still have a few minutes before we meet Walter the Knife, she said. Oh, just don't call him Walter the Knife. Who, me? She smiled as they moved along with the animated crowd, but they did not sit down. He picked up the gold-framed Santa Anita program. On the cover was a man standing next to a horse in a fox hunt. Official program. You better wait till you get your 2,000 before you play the pony, sweetness. Patch grinned and looked at his watch again. Let's head down to the windows in Mr. Piscotti. A few minutes later, a short man with receding dark hair and black glasses stood near the fourth window. He wore a pinstripe, double-breasted navy suit and a red silk tie. When he spotted them, he motioned them with his head. Then he actually exited the pavilion. Walter the Knife waddled over to a magnificent, shiny new black Cadillac and got inside. The side door opened and Shari slid across the smooth leather ahead of Patch. The car had chrome molding and an elegant flare inside. Walter the Knife extended her arm past Shari and shook hands with Patch. He had a slight Italian accent. Walter Piscotti, pleased to meet you both. He reached into his back pocket and removed a bankroll of bills the size of a softball. A wood-handled revolver sat in a brown leather holster inside his open suit coat. One by one, he unfolded 20 $100 bills. He put the roll back in his pocket and fanned the 2,000. Then he slapped it into Patch's hands. Thank you. You know, I never had good luck at the track on a Wednesday or a Tuesday or Monday. I can make the money, but I can spend it too. Yes, sir. You and your lady, you have a good time. Place a bet for me in Vegas. I will, Mr. Piscotti. Johnny's other number, 913-1915. You got that? Shari finished writing on an envelope from her leather bag. Got it. Don't got it. Memorize it, he said, taking the envelope. I have it, said Patch. The man with a golden memory, added Shari. Patch squinted at her, but a slight smile moved up his face. I'm going to try one more race. What do you think? He asked Shari, squeezing her wrist. Sounds good to me. I hope you win. I never win. Walter the Knife again laughed heartily and opened the driver's door. Patch exited with Shari out the side door. Walter the Knife raised his index finger. He likes you. Oh, he does he? Walter the Knife lightly tapped Patch's neck as he nodded. And you treat her good. He shook Patch's hand again, and then they headed along the fountain back toward the entrance. Did you see that bankroll, Patch? He held up the $100 bills. Chump change for Walter the Knife. They backtracked across the lot to the Impala. I don't have in the bank what he carries in his pocket. Man sounded as if we were going to get married. Slight problem, sweetness. What's that? I am married. Chapter 20. Las Vegas, Nevada, Thursday night, July 25th, 1963, 10:05 p.m. Shari had not mentioned what she would do after meeting with McWillie, and Patch did not ask. The cooler night air flooded across the white vinyl seats. Patch rolled up the side window halfway. The seaside chirping birds of So Much in Love by the Time slowly melded into the song. He snapped his fingers as the vocals kicked in. The Las Vegas lights, a burgeoning glow only a few minutes before, brightened like a new dawn out of the desert darkness. That's a nice song, Patch. I really like it. The Las Vegas Strip blazed with a neon barrage from hotel to hotel. Shari turned around as they passed the Sands Hotel. The blue light washed over her face. Imagine Frank Sinatra right in there. I'd like to hear him sing. I hear Sinatra is personal friends with President Kennedy. Patch nodded. I'll call Frank and tell him we'll be a little late because we have to meet with Mr. Lewis McWillie and check into the Bird of Paradise. You do that. He looked at her dark eyes and wide face flickering with each passing hotel sign. Her mouth opened at the next hotel, and she swung her eyes upward from the passenger window. A neon cowboy, 100 feet high, frontier, bigger than that milk bottle? Oh, yeah. She leaned to her right as a parade of glitzy hotels continued unabated. Patch signaled and turned into a shell station. I don't want to put you in danger. Sweetness, we're already in danger. The Bird of Paradise Hotel and Casino, Thursday night, July 25th, 1963, 10:17 p.m.
Our lead story on July 25th, 1963. An incredible development in the nuclear age. The White House has announced that representatives of the United States, the United Kingdom, and the Soviet Union have signed the Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. This document will lead to the eventual elimination of nuclear weapons tests in the atmosphere, outer space, and underwater. Signing the agreement tentatively approving were U.S. Undersecretary of State W. Averell Harriman, Soviet Foreign Minister Andrei Gromyko, and British Minister of Science Lord Hailsham in Moscow.
Patch twisted off the radio. Hard to believe, she said. They've been detonating all that radiation for years. Kennedy is pushing this. I bet the military won't like it. He noticed a large bird attached to the roof, and the bright red letters Bird of Paradise were capped in a gold-frame marquee. Patch read the marquee out loud. Sammy Sleaze. I've seen him on late-night TV. I'd hate to be in the audience when he comes down there and starts his put-down routine. Sometimes he wears a devil's outfit and has a fake pitchfork. We'll pass on Sammy Sleaze. He pulled into a space along the brick wall. Two things. I'm a little anxious about this meeting with McWillie because I have no idea what I did for Roselli and his friends. What's the second thing? $2,000 a week? What the hell do they want me to do? You should have asked Walter the Knife. I think when you're with Walter the Knife, you let Walter the Knife do the talking. He opened the door and stepped into the cooler air. Huge, shiny cars whooshed by on the strip. People were on the move everywhere. He opened the side door. She grabbed his extended hands and stepped into the lot. The apricot top and tan Bermuda shorts she had purchased at the Vault in Santa Barbara fit her body snugly. Kennedy is a leader, Patch. Do you really think the Russians will keep their word about the test ban? She shrugged her shoulders. They have to. Look what happened last fall. Maybe you don't remember, but we had students at school filling fallout shelters last October. Even way up in Spokane? 90 million Americans almost died. Where were you before Spokane, Patch? I was on the cliff overlooking the river. I don't remember anything before that. They reached the elongated green canopy with bright red letters. The Bird of Paradise. Like a snippet of a movie, their reflection appeared just for a few moments in the hotel window. He liked the lightweight blue Hawaiian shirt and chinos she had bought him in a store 3 doors down from the Vault. I think you were definitely hypnotized. Probably by the government, because Roselli specifically told you to stay away from the government people. I agree. For some reason, someone doesn't want me to know who I am. Don't look at me. I'm a-losing the money at the track, she said, imitating Walter the Knife. Patch smiled as the bellhop in the green suit pulled open the glass door. He tipped his cap as they passed. The inside noise generated a whole new atmosphere. In the soft light clusters, gyrating gamblers yanked chrome slot machine levers. A combination of cigarette and cigar smoke floated through the lobby. Vegas is the place to lose money. Shari stroked her chin. I wonder what would happen to Moon if he tried to contact Roselli. Roselli would get him where it hurts. She smiled and looked up at him. You didn't mean what I thought you meant. Of course not. Moon doesn't have a pair. She giggled and dropped to her knees as she fully laughed. He held her steady as he waltzed up to the long walnut counter. The bald-headed guy in the gray tweed jacket tilted his head as he squinted disapprovingly at Shari. Then he faced Patch. Sir? Shari pressed her lips, but turned when she began another bout of silliness. Mr. Roselli said I should ask for Mr. McWillie. And you are? Patch Kincaid. The man twisted his lips at Shari, her back still toward him. Yes, sir, I'll be right back. Her eyes filled as she started again. She took deep breaths before she simmered down. We make a fine pair. Pair. Patch put some change in her hand and pointed at the slots along the wall. Why don't you try your luck? Good idea. Remember, you have to get 3, not a pair. Patch heard a few more bursts as he placed his palms on the counter. She pulled the lever on the center machine. The machine spun. She turned and shrugged her shoulders. I lost. You and Walter the Knife. Try again. She nodded and dropped the change into the machine. 1 oranges, 2 oranges, 3 Patch. She jumped around as if she were on a pogo stick, and the money poured onto the blue flowery rug. You lucky dog! Patch trotted across the rug and roared in laughter as he squatted down. He almost fell over, scooping up the money. When he finally looked up, a balding man with a square face and a pointed nose folded his hands. He wore a brown suit, thin green tie, and baggy pants. Cheaters will be prosecuted. No, I really won, said Shari. She helped Patch to his feet. I don't need the money. Can I quote you on that, Mr. Kincaid? He reached out his hand. I'm Louis McWillie. Patch closed his eyes and shook his head. Mr. McWillie, I didn't know. Thank you for meeting us. I got the word from L.A. yesterday. Listen, it's more relaxing down at the bar. Sure. This is Shari. She's with me. Shari gave a reassuring nod. With a quizzical expression, McWillie shook her hand. Shari, pleasure. Chapter 21. The Bird of Paradise Hotel and Casino, the Center Lounge, Thursday night, July 25th, 1963, 10:17 p.m. The waxwood bar extended far down into the main building. At least a dozen bartenders in white aprons and black bow ties waited on well-dressed customers. The lounge buzzed with cleavage-laden waitresses in black shorts, tiptoeing between the rounded tables like choreographed dances. A mixture of bass music from numerous sources shook the carpet. McWillie escorted them to an elevated table bench wrapped with a soft tan fabric. He lifted the white telephone receiver. "You tell Jack our guests have arrived." He set down the phone as a Filipino waiter in a white shirt and tie rushed over. McWillie faced Patch. "What can I get you to drink?" Patch looked at Shari. "Beer is good." "Make it 2, said Patch. "Make it 3, Puma," said McWillie. He leaned forward as the little waiter scurried away. "Patch, I had extended conversation with numerous associates. The conversations centered around you." "Me? Him? We have no idea where you've been for the last 2 years. I worked in Cuba, Patch, at the Sansui and the Tropicana. I know people in Cuba." He leaned forward and lowered his voice. "You haven't been with Castro in the last 2 years, right?" "Why would I do that?" asked Patch, even though he did not know what McWillie was talking about. "Good. I was in Miami in 1961. I saw you from a distance even though you didn't see me. I know this guy Sanchez won't bother anyone thanks to your friend Mankiewicz. We owe you for arranging that. We owe you more than I can say." His blue eyes sparkled as he spoke. "We need surveillance done on a certain individual. Don't let him out of your sight." "Who is he?" McWillie sat up and the lines tightened on his forehead. "We all like you, Patch, but don't ask stupid questions. It doesn't matter who he is. What matters is what he's doing." A short man in a blue double-breasted suit held his hat as he approached the table. He had pinpoint eyes and a wise guy look. "How's it going, boys?" Then he saw Patch seated at the table. "Patchy! They told me you were alive. You son of a bitch. You—" "Jack, watch your language." McWillie motioned to the waiter. "Puma, get Jack a Coke." The waiter nodded and immediately headed for the nearest bartender. "Ma'am," Jack said, slightly bowing and tipping his hat. Patch had no recollection of meeting this man. "You look tired, Patch, like you've been through the ringer, like you've aged 10 years. Jack's hip careened into Patch's side, shaking the table. McWillie waited and then spoke. "I was just detailing the operation for Patch." "Good opportunity, buddy," he said, pressing his lips and nodding. "The man's name is Oswald," said McWillie, "and he's a communist and a loner." "Oh, he's a Marxist," said Jack. McWillie sneered at Jack and faced Patch. "Oswald may have communist tendencies, Patch, and my people tell me he's an angry man, maybe even psychotic. You know, the bad childhood, etc. And I don't have to tell you how the Reds almost blew up the world last fall. I'll tell you straight up, there are a lot of us in this country who never want to get our asses back to the wall again." "I've been to Cuba many times. Castro's a little prick," snapped Jack. "Jack, shut up. You never can keep your mouth shut." Jack nodded his head. "Oswald is involved in a lot of crap for a lot of people. Jack will get you going. We want to know what this man is doing 24 hours a day. You will be paid $2,000 per report." "Via Jack?" asked Patch. No, you'll be paid via your post office box." Patch leaned toward McWillie. "If I have to keep track of this guy, how do I let you know?" "We had thought about doing it in writing, a journal. There's a better way. A 3.5-inch reel-to-reel. Jack will make the arrangements to get the recorder to you. You will describe exactly what Oswald does and where he goes. Street numbers, describe the people he's with. We'll take care of deciphering it. Just do your job and nobody will bother you." "That's exactly right. We want you to operate with impunity, Patch. When this operation is over, you'll have the opportunity for other operations. All above board, I assure you." Shari unfolded her hands. "Mr. McWillie, what if Oswald spots us?" "Make sure that doesn't happen. And I'll warn you both. The government wants to find you, Patch. They have no idea what happened to you 2 years ago, and they really want answers. Allen Dulles and General Cannell were fired because of the Bay of Pigs. Mankiewicz was released from Cuba after the missile crisis and is still being debriefed." Mankiewicz. Patch had that surge of emotion and memory glitch as he did when Kennedy's name was mentioned. "I'll make it a point to stay away from them all. Like I said, Dulles is gone and replaced by a Catholic, John McCone. Richard Helms is withholding everything and all the shenanigans in the Caribbean from his boss. If McCone knew he'd fire their asses, and so would Kennedy. All along they've held back the Castro assassination activities from McCone. These men are experts on covering up to their superiors. Plausible denial. Patch nodded his head. I understand. Good. Are you in? He looked at Shari. You don't have to check with me, Patch. Yeah, I'm in. McWillie shook his hand. That's fantastic. This will help us in ways you'll never know. He removed a red card with white lettering from his shirt pocket. If anyone gets on you, Patch, you call me directly at this hotel. What about Jack? McWillie raised his brow. Everybody has their role. Jack doesn't need his ass in a sling. Jack's eyes brightened up. Thank you. Unless things get screwed up. Jack choked on his Coke and ice. Hey, I don't need the squeeze. You know all the cops on the force, Jack. He turned back to Patch and Shari. My main point is you just do your job. Don't worry about anyone else. Keep it in all itty-bitty compartments, said Jack. Exactly. McWillie slid out of the booth without drinking his beer. Please thank Mr. Roselli. I will. He looked over to Jack. Jack will take over now. Good luck. Thank you. McWillie moved along the bar and soon blended in with the patrons. Then he was gone. Jack pulled his Coke across the table. Shari smiled at Patch. Where are we headed, Jack? You just follow me and Cleo. Cleo? Asked Shari. My wife, sweetie. I'm Shari. You brought your wife? Asked Patch. Well, my dog, Patchy. He reached in his pocket and removed a small gold case containing white pills. He quickly deposited the pill in his mouth and swigged the Coke. I'm just a little tired from the drive in Vegas. All in a day's work. I want to swing some laps and take in some boxing matches downtown before I go back. I wanted to be at the convention center on Monday, but I couldn't make it on time. What happened on Monday? What? Where have you been? Liston beat the living piss out of Patterson in the first round. We heard it on the radio. A wicked uppercut. Patterson couldn't even tie him up just as well. Drive all the way up here for a one-rounder? The Bear is one tough boy. The Bear? Asked Patch. Liston! They used to use him to make collections up in St. Louis. Nobody survived Sonny's uppercut. Then his eyes welled up. Problem is, he's on the stuff. Patch looked at Shari. Oh, you two are welcome to come with me tonight. No, I think we'll pass, Jack. Get some rest before the drive wherever we're going. Suit yourselves. He finished the Coke and then leaned back. He removed a prodigious roll of cash from his pocket. Patch noticed a small handgun. You know what the most important thing is in this operation, Patchy? What's that? You keep your mouth shut. Don't ask any questions, and you don't take any shit from anyone. You take the play away. What about pictures of Oswald? Hey, did anyone ask for pictures? Asked Jack as he slid from the booth. Look at you two. You go together like lemon and lime. Which one's lemon and which one's lime? Asked Shari. You figure that out. McWillie has rooms. Just go to the desk. I'm heading down to the convention center. I'm driving east at 9 a.m. sharp. Capiche? Capiche, they answered together. Good. Au revoir. Shari hit Patch's shoulder. Just a wild guess, Patchy, but you're a member of organized crime. Looks that way, Lemon. She had a full natural grin as if she had forgotten all her troubles with Ricky Blaze. I thought I was Lime. Jack looks as if they hired him from a standing acting crew in Hollywood. Capiche? Patch laughed as he held the beer. Why are you going forward with this, Patch? Patch stroked his chin. They're paying me money like it's being printed in Roselli's basement. And that's another thing. Roselli is slick. He just sucked me into this. Now I'm afraid to back out. One side of me actually wants to do a good job for him. On the surface, it seems pretty simple. You follow this Oswald, record your observation and send the tape, and pick up at the P.O. box. And put up with Jack, said Patch, laughing. He likes to go around thinking he's big man. Look how he rolled out that cash. Come on. Capiche? Capiche. Patch, I think I should go back home. I'd just get in the way. Patch shook his head, but He could see she had made up her mind. He pressed his lips and removed his wallet from his back pocket. I want to settle up with you then, Shari, and thank you for what you did for getting me here. She had that same dazed look in her eyes as she did when she recounted her saga with Ricky Blaze. I just thought you were lost. You don't even know who you are. Well, at least I have a name. He handed her $1,000, and she casually looked through the stack of bills. Patch, this is way too much. There's wear on your car, too. Will you drive straight through to Spokane? She raised her brows and her eyes moistened. It's over 16 hours. I don't know. If I leave now, I can be in Spokane tomorrow night. I can look you up when this is over. She hugged him tightly. I hope you find out who you are. Patch's hand pressed against her thick hair. Her perfume formed a singular identity. Then he held her shoulders. I hope everything works out for you, too. Thanks for listening to me. So, I guess this is it. He held her hands and focused on her eyes. Call me if you need anything, please. I worry about you, Patch. She closed her teary eyes, spun around, and headed back across the bar. Patch just stood by the booth for the longest time. He had no right to hold her back, but he just did not think she would head back to Spokane alone. Can I get you something else? Asked Puma. No, thank you. I'm going back to my room. Get some sleep. Chapter 22. The Bird of Paradise Hotel and Casino, Las Vegas, Nevada, Friday morning, July 26, 1963, 2:15 a.m. Patch reached for the phone near the radio clock and lifted the receiver to his ear. Hello, Shari? The line clicked and then went silent. Still groggy, he pushed the red button for the front desk. This is Mr. Kincaid in 104. Did someone just call the switchboard and ask for my room? Hold on, please. Patch closed his eyes as he lay back on the pillow. Mr. Kincaid, I have Miss Olson here. She took the call. Thanks. Hello, Mr. Kincaid, said the squeaky Miss Olson. A man just called a few minutes ago. He had a raspy voice. Patch sat up quickly on the pillows. What? Did he give his name? No, sir. Thank you. He hung up the phone, but when he heard rattling in the parking lot, he leaped from the bed. In his boxes, he pulled back the drapes. A shadowy form slithered along the cars toward an idling 18-wheeler parked diagonally near the fence. Two men were inside the darkened truck cab. Patch dressed quickly and dragged open the sliders in front of the drapes. The truck engine now idled close enough to smell the fumes. He darted between the parked cars and cut at an angle to a whitewashed stockade fence. The light in the cab illuminated the two men, probably truck drivers. He crouched behind a Buick near the huge truck. Moon might not have been in the area when he called the hotel. Patch would have to check with the front desk. He backtracked, and then he started toward his room slider. Dr. Alexander Moon stepped around a smaller truck. He gripped a rifle and pointed it directly at Patch. The distinctively hoarse voice halted him in the middle of the lot. Stop right there, Patch. What do you want with me? Oh, what do I want with you? Your plan has been foiled. You will not accomplish your mission. What mission? Who am I? Why has my memory been wiped? Moon walked closer and raised his gun. Your stalling tactics will do you no good. Goodbye, Patch. And Patch, I would have told you. Told me what? Finally figured it out. I know why he died. It was off the coast of Florida. Who? Gunfire echoed off the hotel walls. Moon's body lifted off the ground, and his weapon flipped across the lot. Blood surrounded the doctor's arms and spread on the asphalt. Two men in suits from the front of the hotel ran into the lot. Another man in a tuxedo swept in from the right. McWillie, in a black tuxedo, held a long-barreled handgun as he trotted behind the first two men. He's dead, Mr. McWillie. Is that Moon, Patch? Patch walked forward, perplexed by Moon's last words. Moon's gray hair flowed onto the asphalt. Yes, that's Moon. Good. He looked up at McWillie. Thank you. Who the Christ is Moon? Scientist. He thinks I had some kind of information and wanted me dead. McWillie turned to the turtleneck man. Bring him out to the desert. What's in the desert? Asked Patch. McWillie paused as if he was about to deliver an off-quoted line. There are graves dug outside of town just waiting for troublemakers. Understood. Close call, Patch. I told Jack to make sure you're armed. How did you know about Moon? McWillie grinned. You have guardian angels watching over you, Patch. The Bird of Paradise Hotel, Las Vegas, Nevada, Friday morning, July 26th, 1963, 8:30 a.m. He heard the phone ringing far away. The ring intensified. Patch leaped for the phone. Hello.
Patchy, I'm ready to hit the road. Patchy, is that you?
Jack, I'm just getting up. We had a rough night out there.
So I heard. You should have called me.
You were out.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I've ordered breakfast for you in your room.
That's nice of you.
No problem. We've got a long ride. It's a one-way trip to Tipperary. Sorry about the broad.
Me too. I'll be ready in a half an hour.
By the way, your man in the moon guy, you know, the guy they plugged in the lot?
What about him?
He was looking for Johnny Roselli after Thursday's Dodgers game. He said he was your friend and asked where you were.
Really?
They told him to hit the road, but then they tailed him. Two things, Patchy. The word is out that you walked right in the parking lot and faced the bastard. Your operation is much too important for some dumbass to mess it up.
What's the second thing?
I got you at 38.
Thanks.
Don't mention it. Don't be afraid to use it if you have to. I take care of my friends and they take care of me. Capiche?
Capiche. Somebody knocked on the hallway door. Patch hung up the phone. Then he unplugged the small lamp and removed the bulb and shade. He held it in the air. Who is it? Room service. He stared at the door and approached, gripping the neck of the lamp. Patch slid the chain and turned the lock. He raised the lamp and pulled back the door. In her light jacket, Shari stood with both hands on the handle of the food cart. I thought you might be hungry. He ran around the cart and hoisted her into the air. I so did not want you to leave. I couldn't leave you back here, Patch. Capiche? Capiche. He lowered her to the carpet. Then they came into a tender embrace. Her lips were smooth and sensual. When they broke, she had a huge smile. Then she shook her head. I got to some place called Pony Springs in the middle of nowhere. Patch let his hand glide along her thick dark hair. The whole way out of Vegas, I was a wreck. Patch, I just couldn't leave. I didn't want you to leave. He placed his fingertips on her cheeks and kissed her again. Some things only happen once, Patch. I have no idea where this Oswald thing will lead. Two heads are better than one. Maybe there was a reason why you left last night. I don't understand. Moon. He came armed and ready to kill. McWillie's boys gunned him down in the parking lot. He was about to kill me. She hugged him again. Oh, Patch. He's dead. He said my plan was foiled and I wouldn't complete my mission. He said he had finally figured out why somebody died. It was something to do with the coast of Florida. That makes no sense. Well, to Moon it made great sense. If I can understand what he meant, I might be able to unravel why I'm here and why I lost my memory. Jack counted something in the trunk of his Oldsmobile and recorded it on a clipboard. He turned when he saw Patch walking with Shari across the parking lot. Then he slammed the trunk shut. Well, how do you like that? Lemon and Lime back together again. Where are we headed, Jack? Just follow me. He threw the clipboard in the back seat and the dog barked. Did you tell her about Moon? He told me. What a relief. McWillie said he was a nutcase. That's an understatement, said Patch. Okay, Jack, you're in charge, the way I like it. As Jack shuffled over to his Oldsmobile, Shari grabbed Patch's shoulder. Patch, I've been trying to understand what Moon was talking about. Who died off of Florida? You're asking me? Do you think you shot somebody and they started running away from Moon? I remember Moon was chasing me. If somebody had died, I would have remembered that too. When Patch and Shari leave Galveston, Texas, the book really starts rolling as far as the surveillance on Oswald, and starts in New Orleans and trails him and the events and people leading up to the assassination of President Kennedy on November 22nd, 1963. I'm Robert P. Fitton, and I've been zooming into the past. Fitton time travel books abide by historical events as they happened. Music, television, and daily events are concurrent with the time travel plot. Check out Fitton's Time Travel and all Fitton books at audible.com.